Welcome to yet another controversial video that will shift you from surviving to thriving. If you are suffering from anxiety, depression, you are struggling to manifest things in your life, you have health issues, or every time you talk about that family member or your ex or even your current partner or your job or your business partner that did you over, and you're still reliving that event as though it is still alive in you. So you still have the anger, the hurt, the disappointment, the sadness that has not been processed in your body. It means that you're carrying unprocessed grief and resentment. And this is creating a barrier from where you are now to where you want to go. And I know that a lot of information out there tells you that you do not have to forgive. You can somehow heal without forgiving. And in this video, I am going to very controversially go against that point. And here is why. There is a very good reason for it. Is because when you do not forgive, you still carry all of the pain, all of the hurt, all of the fear of this event repeating. You are still carrying the hurt from that person, or the anger towards the person or the institution or the situation that hurt you. And you're carrying that as a protective mechanism, trying to prevent something that was so hurtful in the past from happening now or in the future. What does this do? It creates a lot of tension inside of you. Your mind becomes hyper focused on danger. You're trying to protect yourself, which means you're in defense. You're not open to life. So you're paying attention to red flags all the time. You're seeing what is dangerous out there. And the way that our brain and that life works is that the more we look for something, the more we will see of that thing. So it's like the story I keep telling about red cars. When you want to buy a red car, your mind is so focused on it that when you go outside, you will see many red cars, a lot more than you would if you did not want to buy that car. If you want to fall pregnant, all of a sudden you will go outside and you will see, wow, so many people are pregnant, or you will see so much information about pregnancy. It is because we have something called the self-validation principle, which basically means we look for validation of what we already believe in the external world. We're trying to prove ourselves right because our brain doesn't like cognitive dissonance. This means that if you look for danger, you will look for people who are dangerous. So it's the same as if you are driving in the car and there is a big pothole on the road. New drivers will really focus on that pothole, while experienced drivers understand that they must look to where they want to go, to the road where there is no pothole, to the road that is full, for lack of a better term. So it's the same thing. The more we live in that survival mode, in the fight, flight, freeze, we're shutting ourselves down. We are living in scarcity. We are cutting ourselves off from our own wisdom. We do not spot opportunities, and we will inevitably attract more of the same events into our lives. Therefore, to say that we can heal without forgiveness is not true at all. Also, carrying the hurt and the pain in the body is just an indication that there is a lesson there that you have not yet learned, and you're using that hurt as a protective barrier instead of learning skills. So what does this mean practically? So if, for example, I was bullied at school, what do I need to learn from that? Of course, the lesson is not to accept bullying. The lesson for me is to empower myself somehow, to either get a voice and speak to somebody, to get help, to set boundaries, to have standards. Maybe later on as an adult, I go to self-defense classes and I empower myself. So if we didn't have a voice, we need to learn, how do I get a voice? If our power was somehow taken away, we need to find out, how do I empower myself? A lot of the time, people do not forgive the people who have hurt them in the past or the institutions, and they will say, I am not who I could be today because of that event. So for a longest period of time, I used to hold my father to this ransom, that if only he wasn't an alcoholic, if only he wasn't abusive, then I would be successful. And the longer I stayed his victim, because that's what I was basically saying, you didn't just hurt me in those moments, and yes, he hurt me for years and decades. However, if I allow him to not only take my past, but also to take my future moments from me. Because to be honest with you, I didn't know how to get over that grief, the pain, how to overcome that, and then rise above it. And there is a very simple step-by-step process of how to do it. To make it short in this video, what I'm going to say about it is that first, you need to really check in with yourself in that story. So you might journal it out and say, these are the people in my life who I have close to me. And every time I talk about John or Susan or my father or my mom, I have this emotional reaction. What is that emotional reaction? What is the actual story that I'm telling myself? That if my mom complimented me more, that I would have better self-esteem. Well, clearly, you still have not learned how to have good self-esteem. What does it mean? Maybe you need to now take control of your inner self-talk. And it might feel very overwhelming because maybe you don't know how to do that. Okay, if you don't know how to do that, outsource people. There is so much free information online. I'm going to have a free talk about forgiveness. You can come to that. You can go to my channel for a lot of healing. You can go to a coach, a therapist, a friend. There's so much information where we can empower ourselves. And you will notice that once you transform that pain by finally overcoming the lesson, and I know it sounds harsh, guys, and I would not say this to you if I did not go through trauma myself, because I understand that it can feel very painful to get over something that you didn't cause and that you didn't sign up for. However, you now have to put in the work. However, if you don't put in the work, you will stay the perpetual victim. And that's a harsh thing to say, but it is like that. We stay the victim of that situation and circumstance. But when we realize, okay, that thing happened, what do I need to learn from there? Do I need to set boundaries? Do I need to learn self-defense? Do I need to get good self-esteem? Do I need to learn to love myself? Do I need to know how to be financially successful? And we take that on as the lessons we never signed up for. It's that class in college that you never wanted, but you kind of given it. And once you learn that lesson and master it, the forgiveness happens automatically. Because forgiveness is not a wish, it is not a prayer. Forgiveness is a cauldron, a transformational portal. In there you will be forged like metal is heated and beat into shape. And it is meant to transform you and help you to rise into the best version of yourself that you could possibly imagine. And when you get to that version, you will not only have that knowledge of how to have your self-confidence or have your boundaries, but you will also understand what it feels like and what it means to have been on the other side. Your heart will be expanded beyond anybody that was just born into these perfect circumstances, even though this is not human life. In life, we all go through trauma. Big trauma, small trauma, but life is trauma. There is trauma in life. So this is a task, and it seems a lot bigger than what I'm saying. Even just putting this out on paper and having a plan of, and realizing like, wow, this is the lesson. The lesson here is self-love, or the lesson here is empowerment. And usually it's both. Life is trying to bring us into balance of self-love and power. It is both, not separate. And often we have too much of one and not enough of the other. So perhaps our heart is so open and so compassionate, but we lack boundaries. Or we have boundaries that are actually just like walls, and we do not have a lot of understanding and compassion for others. Both of those are imbalanced, and life constantly is trying to bring us into fullness, into our highest and fullest expression. And it is doing that through challenges, big challenges, through grief, through loss, through trauma, through disappointments. However, it is not about what happens, but how we choose to grow through it. In any way we're going to go through it, we might as well grow through it. So I hope to see you at the free talk. I will put the link to the group, where the links will be sent down below. Please tell me your time zone so that I can send you the correct link. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's shift from surviving to thriving together. My name is Patricia. Big love.